This is the first ever Beauty News Hour, and we have a special guest contributor. Say hi, baby. Any comments on beauty as an economic indicator? Insightful. See, this is the exclusive coverage you only get at the Beauty News Hour. Isn't that right, baby? She says yes. Amidst a cost of living crisis and completely unnecessary trade war, you might be wondering, just how fucked are we? Well, we're in the middle of what feels like the umpteenth unprecedented event in like the past 5 years, and there is no shortage of takes on just how bad everything is. Are we in a constitutional crisis? If you have to ask the question, the answer is probably yes. Are we in a recession? If you have to ask the question, the answer is probably yes. But in times of economic uncertainty, there are some unlikely indicators that can flash in times of trouble, like lipstick sales. Here at Darling Social, we break down beauty history and how the modern beauty industry is impacting you. I'm Lydia-Renee Darling, beauty documentarian, actor, writer, and your host of the Beauty News Hour. Subscribe if you want to spill more beauty tea with me every week. Some of the most talked about recession indicators online and in media right now are in beauty. Recession blonde, the lipstick effect, and the growing popularity of press-on nails say to me that we haven't escaped the recession accusations. But firstly, let's define what a recession even is. Before the widespread sentiment that we've been in a recession or recessions after the COVID drop-offs, a lot of media coverage tried to explain these feelings with the term vibe-cession, meaning despite the economy performing well, everyday Americans were not seeing a meaningful boost or change in their fortunes, and consumer sentiment was down, like it is now. A traditional recession, on the other hand, means that an economy's GDP declines for at least 2 quarters in a row. But what complicates this traditional assessment of recessions is the lack of financial mobility, even where there isn't a technical recession happening. Just look at the cost of living crisis. While it's being called the cost of living crisis in the UK, where it was at its peak inflation of 11% when I was living there full time in 2022, the US hasn't really used this term as much in its own media or pop culture discussion. But the point we're at in US society is, in my opinion, past where it's only a recession that's relevant to the economic conditions of everyday and working Americans. A recession is really only the cherry on top of the shit pie that is the cost of living crisis, and that's been worsening for decades. So, in that sense, beauty might be predicting we're in a recession based on these indicators, like the lipstick effect, which we're covering today, but these historical norms may be lacking to describe a new economic reality entirely. So what the hell does lipstick have to do with it? Well, I'm glad you asked. I'm here to answer. The lipstick effect is a theory that everyday consumers indulge in small luxuries during periods of economic downturn because they have to put off purchases for the big stuff. Cars, houses, having kids, blah, 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 blah. Here's a quote from the Yeshiva University of New York. This phenomenon was first noticed by Leonard Lauder, the chairman of the cosmetic empire Estee Lauder, in 2001. Lipstick sales rose, while the sales of most other products, meanwhile, declined in volume. L'Oreal's sales grew 5.3% during the Great Depression in 2008, and Boots, on the other side of the pond, also did well. The luxury goods market, on the other hand, shaved off about 9%. Just from 2008 to 2009. But as you know, because of the inundation of products, we've gotten a way more diverse cosmetic market since 2001 and even 2008. Visualize, if you will, for a minute, the lip combos and lippies you see on TikTok. How many of those included an actual lipstick? Most likely it was a lip oil or a tinted lip balm. I'd argue that we're now in a phase of lippy theory instead of lipstick theory. We've got more products to choose from, and after the pandemic, we shifted more from makeup into skincare and this weird nebulous wellness is beauty type of niche. This approach to wellness during an uncertain time when people just wanted a little self-care. Plus, with mask wearing and people who weren't working a service or essential job staying home, why wear lipstick at all? For a lot of people, it just doesn't make sense, and it still doesn't. And while, yes, we're 5 years away from that peak, we still see that clean girl, no makeup, and actually this gorgeous, naturally appeal still sticking around. What I find more compelling in this clean girl era is the sale of luxury and drugstore tinted lip. Discover Fridays is seen as the iconic originator of this packaging. I'm sure you've seen it everywhere. It's a long tube that has a cute scent matches flavor matches tint color combo, and it's been thrown into dupeception currently. Rhode's got their peptide lip glaze treatment thingy that has the granules in it. I don't mean that as shade. That's just how I remember it. Glossier made balm.com, which was arguably their hero product, a vegan reformulation. People didn't like that, so they undid it and put it back to the original and kind of relaunched it. And e.l.f. has even thrown their hat in the ring of the long, tubey lip balm dupeception era. The lipstick effect was most relevant before the peak age of microtrends. Our online culture has driven consumer behavior in beauty into a new direction. It's so rapid that lipstick isn't really the main makeup indicator of recessions or economic turmoil that we can look out for. I'd argue that we should be looking at not only lipstick sales to see where consumer sentiment is falling, but also at tinted lip balms and squeezy lip balms to get a better sense of what millennials and Gen Z are feeling, since, you know, they're statistically less likely to use lipstick and less financially secure, meaning that they're probably an indicator of how rough things are. Keep your eye not only on the literal lipstick effect, but on how much tinted lip balms increase in sale and what that spread looks like across luxury and drugstore options if you want to get a look at the modern economy. I'm Lydia-Renee Darling, and this has been your Beauty News Hour. Be sure to sub so you can catch my next deep dive into Recession Blonde as an economic red flag. But until then, I'll see you next time.